I know I'm crazy. What's up, y'all? Do you know you crazy? Because I know I'm crazy. This is your host, Naja Hall, with the I Know I'm Crazy podcast. Today, we are covering one of our favorite freaking topics. Not about our favorite types of people, but we all like to talk about this. We like to talk about narcissists and what they've done to us and how they've made us feel and how to recognize them and all these things. I don't know why it's so polarizing, but here we are. Today we have our guest, Coach Ralph Toulon. And after this dance break, I'm going to tell you all about her, and we're going to get all into that narc in your life.
I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy.
All right, so I don't know why I get so hyped every time I hear my own theme song. Like, I got you guys. You don't have a theme song. You need to get yourself a theme song. Like, it makes you feel like, I feel like I'm Beyonce about to get on stage, except for I'm talking to you guys on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and all the other everywhere else you can watch this. So if you are wanting to watch this and watch all the video prompts and the pretty little doohickeys that we spend hours on decorating these videos, please go to YouTube. Today's episode is not only audio, it's also visual. So look down in the link below if you want to watch the video. Today we're talking to Ralph Toulon. Ralph is a wife, a mom, and a bonus mom who has turned her darkest time dealing with the effects of being in a narcissistic relationship into her mission to help women struggling in their own relationships. She got focused and did the work on herself first. And shortly after, she became certified as a professional coach. While serving her clients, Ralph went back to become mastered certified professional coach to continue to help women put a name to what they're experiencing, survive, heal, and have the healthy relationships that they deserve. Coach Ralph!
Yes!
We have finally, guys, I've been trying to get her on this podcast for over 8 months, I feel like.
Yes.
She's so worth the wait because for those of you, and while you're listening to this podcast, especially if you're listening, I just want you to go over and pop on her Instagram real quick because she drops life-changing nuggets every single day. Ralph, what's your Instagram?
It is Ralph the Coach.
You can
go.
So go pop over to Ralph the Coach real quick because we're about to really get into it. So I always like to ask people their motivations, and clearly your motivation stemmed from your own real life experiences. And tell us as much as you can about what led you to be here helping us.
It was actually the day that I decided that I was going to focus on helping women with, at the point, it was like this issue. That's how I told myself, is when I realized that I was depressed. So I didn't even know that I was even depressed. I had been so fatigued. I was even going to the doctor trying to figure out like, oh God, am I pregnant? Jesus. Like I was telling them to run blood tests.
You're like, what's wrong with me?
What is wrong? Because I would, I was a stay-at-home mom. So what I would do is, take my son to school, come back, start my day, and then I would have to take a nap. And then I would take a nap, and then I would get up, and then I would have to take another nap. And by the time it'd be time for me to pick him up from school, I would have taken either 2 or 3 naps, and I would still be tired. I would just have enough energy to do maybe 1 or 2 tasks, and then I would be tired. And then he goes to bed at 8 o'clock, and I am right behind him. And normally any, functioning person, if you've already taken just 1 nap, you're probably up until 12 o'clock at night. But after 2, 3 naps, I'm going to bed 8, 9 o'clock, like exhausted. And then I would just lay down, and then I would get up, and I would dread like having to do things and get up and do this. And I just wanted to be in the bed. I did not want to do anything. I didn't want to hang out. And then for your listeners who have maybe experienced what I call the smirk, one day I was laying in the bed. I think it might have been a weekend. And he was just like, are you okay? I know you've been tired. And I was just like, I just can't get it together. Like, I can't shake this. And I was just in the bed, and I was just like, and I caught him out the side of my eyes, and he was smirking. And right then it clicked for me. I said, oh, hell no. I was like, he likes this.
He is feeling fueled by you being
down, like being down and out. Can't do anything, right?
To see you down and out.
And before, just previously to this happening, I remember asking him one time, and I was saying, I really think that like when I'm not having a good day, or if I'm like, not dealing with something well, like you enjoy that. Like you enjoy when I'm mad. But when I'm happy, it seems like you're upset. And he was like, no. And I was like, it just seems that way because anytime that I'm just not like on my game, you seem better. And he was like, I don't know why you would think that. And so then when I, now present, like I see the smirk, like once he left out the room, I sat up in the bed and I said, no, the hell you won't. I said,
I have to fight this. I have to fight.
And that's exactly what I went to. I'm like, I'm not going to let you kill me. Cause in my mind, I'm like, I always, even when we were in therapy, I would tell the therapist, like, I feel like so much is on me that I am just going to kill over in the street. And I'm like, I do not want that to happen to me. And I do not want to leave my son. And so I sat up, I turned and put my feet over the side of the bed. And I said, and I don't know how I just bypassed my whole entire self, but I said, anybody who's dealing with this type of, I have to help them. Because it was so long, I didn't know what this was, but I was just fighting. And I was like, I could just imagine anybody else going through this. I was like, I have to help them. And so that's how I got here.
In that situation where you saw the smirk, I could imagine that this person felt emboldened. They felt bigger. They were snuffing the life out of you. So when you were down and out, laying in bed, lethargic, were they at your every beck and call? Like, did they need to be of service? Like, why? No.
No.
What about stepping on a person's head? Why would that fuel them to be happy or feel whole or whatever the heck it is they got out of that?
Well, normally for narcissistic people, they are severely insecure. It's not just your basic insecurities that may overwhelm them for periods. It's severe. And so the whole show is about covering that up. Not letting you know that, this grand personality that I have, or this self-serving, or everything has to be about me, is really covering up how I feel about myself. And so if I can kind of like get you down to my level or even below that, that makes me feel better. I feel better because
prop myself up. I get to lean on your shoulders and prop myself up.
Yes. And so the thing is that I often explain to my clients is that narcissistic people don't go after weak, insecure people that are just, already broken. They go after people who have something about themselves, whether it's a great job or a great personality. People gravitate towards them. Even nice cars, house. Say that again.
Why? Why would they go? Now, I feel like if you're going after a waif or somebody that's already broken, that's a kind of easy target. But why would they go after someone that's of stature?
Because if you're already broken, if you're already dealing with something, if you're already at an insecure place, that's nothing to brag on. I need something to brag on. Like if you have a podcast.
Break you then.
Yeah, and it's not for your overt and your covert narcissist is not a conscious thing. I have to break you, because initially that is what attracted me to you. I really did like that about you. I love that you were very successful. I love that you had your own business. I love that you take care of your family. I love your personality. I love how everybody gravitates towards you. But then at some point that became so disgusting to me.
Disgusting. Ooh.
And that's where I come to devaluing you. Yes, I cannot stand it about you because it gets on my nerve. It's not palatable for me to take anymore. So then I have to bring you down to a level that I can consume you better at. Because now everything that attracted me to you, your greatness, your pizzazz, is making me feel a type of way about myself. So for me to take you on better, I need to bring you down. Let me bring you down to my level so then I can, digest you better because you triggering. You're triggering to me like this. You're triggering me with your confidence. Don't like it. You're
So
triggering me that everybody likes you.
what are some of the methods that they would use to break you down?
Definitely a go-to is belittling. So initially what they call in the love bombing stage is that stage where I'm so attracted to you. Like I'm just so engulfed in you. But in that, you want to look for a lot of asking you questions, having you do a lot of the talking, because what they're doing is they're gaining information. They want to know, what are your insecurities, what are your triggers, what are your soft points. So in that time, when I have to use them, I'm going to use them against you. So if you told them, like, I've always had bad relationships with girlfriends, and so now at the point of where I can't take your grand personality, which I love so much, and I have to devalue you, I'm going to say, see, the reasons why we have problems in our relationship is you can't even have relationships with girlfriends. So I don't know why you thought you could have a relationship with me.
Wow. God.
And
So
then,
so basically they have the ability to just they do this information gathering because they make you open up because they love bomb you. And they've
yeah.
got all these tools now, these bullets by which to load this gun of insecurity and fire back at you when they need to break you down to size. Basically, that's
Yes.
whew. So
Yeah.
you got a hell of a motivation coach, Ralph. Okay, so a question that I like to ask everybody that comes on this podcast, and I always like to kind of bum rush people, is because the podcast is called I Know I'm Crazy with Naja Hall. Like, everybody that listens to this, y'all know why I'm crazy. Y'all find out a different reason every Tuesday. But Coach Ralph, we need to know what the heck makes you crazy just like the rest of us.
Oh, there's a plethora of things.
We just need
What makes me crazy? I would have to say what most people are not going to do is I'm going to buck back. For yeah, I'm the person who is going to bully the bully. I'm the person who's going to stand up and say something when nobody else in the room is going to say something. I I am always the one who's probably going to do something that most people are not going to do. So that is my crazy.
Oh my gosh. So many times as women, they tell us to be ladylike and turn the other cheek and forgive and forget. And when they go low, we go high. And what I found in my experience of trying to be that I'm 40 now. So I probably started being a thug about 2 years ago.
Lies.
It's really deafening. Like when you go low, when you go high and they go low, like it's so difficult because the disordered people, the narcissists, the borderlines, the people with these mental illnesses, or I'm not putting those people in bad categories, or the people that are in the bad categories, they take advantage of the fact that you turn the other cheek and they slap the piss out
Yes.
of the other one.
Every single time.
I like the fact that you're like, nah, bro, I'm gonna meet you where you're at. I'm gonna meet you where you're at.
Yes, because I've always been outspoken. I've always been, I guess like a firecracker. So the one time that I decided that, going to do the be different, be more simmer down, I married a narcissist.
Wait, the one time when you're like, what? Damn, Ralph. Well,
Yeah. The one time. All it took was one time.
Okay, so how does the narcissist that you married feel about your platform and the fact that you're calling them this label?
Okay, well, one, I'm still married to my narky husband. Most people are like, what?
Wait a minute. Wait just
yes,
Excuse me?
yes, I am still married to my narcissistic husband. Yes.
So, okay, well, you got to break that down for us, Coach Ralph. Well,
And there's only one reason why I'm still married to my narcissistic husband.
For your child.
Absolutely not. No.
Oh.
Absolutely not. No.
Oh.
he was in tow. We was out the door. Okay. It's because he's in therapy.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to cuss. Oh shucks. Wow.
I don't condone any of my clients to stay in any relationship that is toxic, that is harmful for the kids.
Yes.
I don't. Because you're not giving them any healthy benefits to then go on. We need to stop this cycle of toxic relationships. We got to.
So I was
But
gonna ask you, because I know you mentioned that you guys were in therapy, you were in marriage counseling. Who is marriage counseling? And typically, a lot of the counselors are trained to notice or recognize disordered personalities. So, did that particular therapist tell you guys, like, "Hey, I think he needs a diagnosis," or did you get that at that time?
so I'm gonna just piggyback off of what you said. Most of them are trained. Most of them don't. Outside of training, they don't go any further unless that is their specialized like niche. Most therapists will be talking to the narcissistic partner and not even know. And most of the time, that narcissistic partner is manipulating the therapist. And that's why they love going to couples therapy. Love it.
Because they get to make you look like the crazy person. You're the bad guy.
Boom, there you go. And I will buck up against both of them because, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, this is not what we're about to do. I already see what you're trying to do. But it's very imperative that they go by themselves. Because you have no one else to put the blame on. You have no one else to pass the buck to. It's just you.
And licensed to diagnose them.
Me and my husband were in therapy for 3 years. 3 years, nothing changed. Okay. I asked him to go by himself. Basically, he gave me his behind the kiss, did not do it. And then he had his own breakthrough and he went on his own. And even in the midst of him going, I still didn't care. I was already making my plan because I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't have my own income. I had to make a plan to leave. And so I was still making my plan. Not until he was in therapy for 7 to 8 months did I decide like, let me see. Because they'll go and they're good at upholding, a good face for a while. And I was used to it being for a while and then we were back to normal and then being on this cycle of yes. Yeah. And so not until I was like, okay, he's actually like working, putting in the work, still going. He goes every other Wednesday, even up to now. And so we're going on almost 2 years of him doing that. Faithfully, not miss at all, every other Wednesday.
And that's a hard charade to keep up if you're just trying to win your partner back. So
boom.
So why has he become dedicated to changing himself? What's the motivation here?
Does your partner share kids with a loony? Are your stepkids driving you up a wall? Is your partner failing miserably at setting boundaries? Well, VIP Stepmom is where you need to be. We're an exclusive private community just for stepmoms, and we'd love for you to join our tribe. Each month, our members enjoy private conversations, podcasts, expert workshops, a subscription to Stepmom Magazine, and monthly live Zoom meetings. If you're ready to join a diverse community that is committed to making sure you live your best life, visit VIP Stepmom today. We'll save a seat for you.
VIP Stepmoms, that's you and me.
In probably the first month or two of therapy, he realized a lot of subconscious things that he was holding on to, and also that he was narcissistic. And so then what also fueled that was talking to his friends and asking like, did you know I was like this? And then, them being like, yeah. Yes. And so that was kind of like a dagger to him because it's like, so y'all allowed me to conduct myself in this manner and nobody said anything to me. And it was kind of like, well, we were just waiting for you to figure it out. But they don't have any self-awareness. So then, but his friends don't know, no one is just on their daily, looking at narcissistic things. Nope. So, but he would have never figured it out because they have no self-awareness. So he was kind of hurt by that. But just to not show up like how he's been showing up and hurting people and doing things, he doesn't want to be like that anymore. And he also wants to be able to deal with the subconscious trauma that he went through. So then he can be better. He knows that, there are things that is just what it is. And I know that as well. You got to be realistic if you're going to stay. But the actual abuse part has stopped. And so he doesn't want to be abusive anymore in those ways. He doesn't want to manipulate people. He doesn't want to, we have these conversations. He always says, my first thought is to not care about what happens to people or
Yes.
how they feel. And he's like, so
Yes.
I have to like switch it. And he's like, it's so hard. Like some days it's just so hard, like to not give a about people.
Right. Because it sounds like his go-to reaction is not even being apathetic, just like not care. Like,
Yeah, it's like whatever.
this doesn't phase me. So then, what do you think that a narcissist is capable of love?
And so I see this a lot, and a lot of people I see in chats and things like wanting to know have they ever loved me. And one, I tell you to not focus on any relationship because everyone, excuse me, everyone is taught to love differently, and you're looking for someone to love you like how you love, and that's wrong. So even though a lot of books, excuse me, a lot of books, a lot of things you see on the internet will tell you that narcissistic people are not capable of love. And I will disagree to that point.
A lot of resources will say that.
And the only reason why I disagree, not because I'm with one, is because they're giving you what they really feel that love is. They genuinely are. But you have to remember they were taught because narcissists aren't born. They're made. And we all come to all relationships from what we've experienced in our house, what we've seen our parents or our parent or what they have done to us. So I'm going to treat you like that. That's with anybody. And so most of the time is what mommy and daddy or mom or dad has shown me or what I have translated that as love. I'm now giving that to you. It just so happened that might have been abuse.
So typically we see that the person that has had to become a narcissist, they've developed this pattern of behavior just because they had to cope from some sort of trauma or some sort of series of traumas, meaning abuse, neglect, could be a host
Abandonment.
abandonment. When the narcissist recognizes the thing that created this pattern in them, how are they supposed to coexist with this thing? And that thing could be their family, the mother, their father, the uncle. How are they supposed to coexist? Is it best for them to just cut off contact while they're healing, or can they coexist in the midst of getting better?
Most people, not just even narcissistic, but it just depends on the situation. So most of the time, if a narcissist is going to go to therapy and then they are faced with the trauma that has, helped them to become who they are,
Yes.
normally, as an adult, you are away from that parent, that family member. But let's just say that parent or family member is sick and you have to take care of them. That's why it's so good to go to a psychotherapist when you are dealing with narcissism, because they will have to give them the coping skills on how to, because what it is, all of them are going to tell them you have to address it. And the generation that most of us, I'm also 40, we have parents who are not, they don't take they don't take it well that you say, hey, you weren't the best parent.
Oh
You
my
did these
God.
things to me.
My God, that just made me gasp. I wouldn't dare fix my mouth to.
Right. So to put on top of that, the trauma and then the denial of the trauma. And so you have to have a therapist who is capable of helping you how to cope so you don't backpedal into like, see, this is why I treat people the way I do, or see, this is why I didn't want to do this.
Because more than likely, you're not going to get validation from the person that made you develop these coping mechanisms. All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk about how do you make somebody a narcissist? You got this beautiful little that's a heavy baby. Eight, you have this beautiful little 7 bundle of joy, and you're like, I'm going to give them the world. They're going to be the next president. I'm going to give them everything I didn't have. And then they grow up to be a freaking narcissist. How do you make this little innocent being who's a blank slate? What can we do to create that? I don't want you guys to create it, but I'm kind of telling you, like Coach Ralph is going to teach us some methods so that we don't put these traits in our own babies.
Okay. So we have a window. Let's start there. We have a window from 0 to about 11 and 12. Okay. That's our window. So even if at 6 or 7 years old, you're starting to maybe see some signs there, and that may be possible or not. you still have time before you get to this 11, 12-year age of closure. And this is what this child is going to be when it comes to narcissism. So either you, with this blank slate, have taught a child that consequences don't matter, that you're just the best thing since sliced bread, and that you're entitled. You're entitled to whatever you feel, you think, or you want to have. You're entitled to it all. And there is no punishment. There's no consequences for anything that you do. And that people should bow down to your graces because you're just that great. Even though it's just me, your mom, or your dad who thinks that, but everyone should think this about you. Then you also have what I call in the home abandonment. So where you have mommy, daddy, or, whatever your guardian is, who's there, but they may only just give you the basics of needs, where paying attention to you is not one of those needs. So I'm not going to be there for you. I'm not going to be attentive to your needs. I'm not going to cater to you as you would do a child. I'm not going to be nurturing to you. You're going to have to basically fend for yourself when it comes to the emotional part of your needs being met. Or I will be very critical of you. Hypercritical of you, very critical, because you are, let's just say, narcissistic parent, a reflection of me. So you're perfect just like I am, and you're not showing up as that. So I'm going to basically tear you down and not even know it. Also, there's a bad habit of putting out wounds on our kids. And so now I'm making my child responsible for my feelings. Yeah. And where you should have a therapist or a friend that is on your age level, where you've made your child responsible for your feelings and how you feel. And so that's heavy for someone who's 5, 6, 7 years old. And so they've learned to basically put themselves to the side, and then they don't pick them up. Because also with narcissism, it's the loss of identity. Because I'm picking up so many masks I've learned to put on that I don't even know who I am.
So they learn not to center their own feelings, which is probably why they gravitate toward, like you said, these big personalities or these successful people to validate their own identity.
There you go.
Yikes. So then when you get to that 11-year-old mark, like you said, when certain age, baby, it's go time. We're full blown. We're in it. When they get to that age, and us as parents, when we start to see some of these tendencies in our own child, is all hope lost? Do we just have a narc on our hands, or what can we do?
No, you still therapy. I will always advise therapy. And then again, it's just the parent. You have to be realistic. A lot of parents, I am one, I am also a stepmom. You have to put your feelings and what you feel aside, because a lot of parents don't want to do what is right for their child because they feel it's a reflection of them. If I say that, my child needs therapy, then it's like, what have you been doing? And it may not necessarily all the time be something you have been doing, but you know what I'm saying? It's things you haven't been doing. It's just, let's fix it. Yeah. Don't focus on what causes so much. Let's fix it. But again, therapy, being consistent. You have to be consistent. You cannot have that child in therapy for periods of time and then take them out and then periods of time. Changing behavior in the house.
Life, basically. Like, this is a lifestyle.
Oh, yes. No, this is a lifestyle for narcissistic people. Once we are like in this, they've, at 11, 12, you can probably help, transform some things. But once we're like 20, 30 years old, especially in the 30s, going into the 40s, this is lifelong. My husband will lifelong need to continue to go to therapy. This is part of his regimen. This is like getting the car oiled.
Just like oil change. Just like
yes.
Yes. Right. This is one of those things that he's going to need to help him stay calibrated. So are you afraid? Do you have fears that your child will start to emulate your husband's behavior? Even if your husband is going through being different. Isn't part of, I don't know how much of narcissism is genetic, but I know it's a learned behavior.
Yes. So it's just I don't have the fear. And the reason why I don't have the fear is because it helps to have a strong, confident, secure parent in the household or guardian in the household to balance that out. As children, even me and you, we've picked up things from our parents, good and bad. He is going to pick up some things, but also once we've got older, we've recognized some of the things like, oh, I didn't like that mama did that. And you might recognize you're starting to do that and be like, okay, I need to change that, because that's self-awareness.
Yes.
I make sure that he's self-aware even at age 5 of what he's doing, how he's treating people.
Yes.
Because with you not correcting a child and letting them go on and become narcissistic, that's where the behavior continues, festers.
Yes.
You have to have a parent who's not afraid of that narcissistic parent. If you're going to stay to help that child, you have to help the child. If you're going to stay for the kids, help the kids.
Help the kid. Do your thing and stay. So then we got all these tools on how you create this narcissistic child. Is there anything else that you want to add on, how to create this beautiful, loving bundle of joy and make him into a ball of narc? Is there anything?
The proof in the genetics is hard. So nothing has been said or been discovered yet to say everything is learned behavior. And most of the time, a lot of it, where you're seeing a lot of it now, is because there is a parent or both parents in the household that are narcissistic. And like how we said a bit at the top of our conversation, that child, that blank slate, figured out, if I was to be more like mama or daddy or grandma, whoever, to cope so I won't get abused as often, then something they've learned to maybe think of in this moment, I'm going to become, they end up becoming fully, you know what I'm saying? Then you have your golden child. And then the one who decided like, no, I know good and bad. This is bad. That's going to be, more likely the scapegoat child. But
yeah. So then mentioning, because like we said, I guess I keep going back to this it's a learned behavior. We learn from somebody. I don't know the stats. I'm not even going to try to throw it out there. But more than likely, if we recognize that we are ourselves disordered with one of these googob of personality disorders. Got it from somebody. And a lot of us will try to take it back to that person because we want them to get help too. We're like, oh my God, hey, I'm realizing this in me. I got this from you. You need to see a therapist because you have a pattern of broken relationships. You have no empathy. You give them a laundry list. When is a safe time to do that?
To be honest with you, it's just when it feels right for the person, but more than likely it's not going to happen, just to be honest. Most narcissistic people aren't going to go to therapy. And so that's why even if you Google the percentage of how many narcissists are in the world, the percentage is going to be very low.
Yeah.
When like on a daily basis, like I just feel like like you're narcissistic.
Right. I mean, because we've had people to preside over this country that are full-blown narcissists. We've had people to lead churches, some of our own teachers, maybe doctors, our friends, some of our parents, our own children. We had a guest podcast not too long ago, Dr. Jeremy, that shared that his own son was a diagnosed narcissist. So they're all around us, but like you said, a lot of them ain't going.
Right, and so because you have to get that diagnosis.
You got to get the diagnosis.
You got to get the diagnosis.
And there's no pill. There's no pill to
no. There's no cure. There's only coping, like just tools you can use. Like for my husband, there's like nothing he can take to voila, this is gone. But there are things and techniques and strategies that he can do to be better. You can be better because he has to learn a lot. Like he's learning how to be self-aware. Yeah, that's something you're supposed to teach your child, as they're little. Imagine learning this in late 30s.
That's got to feel really like vulnerable and naked to have to learn that in adulthood, how to be self-aware. Because then you kind of realize you've been walking around with this cloak of just being so unaware of people look at you, how you made people feel, and now it's all starting to come out, and that's got to feel really bad. Like,
it does, and he gets angry too.
Like an apology tour, just to be like, "Yo,
well, he kind of did that. He kind of did like the text message apology tour to people he could get to, but at the same time, it's a lot of anger because it's like, I feel like it's the expectation. I should have been taught this. I should have been, and so even when going to that parent and telling them, hey, like, these are some things, and like, you know, you failed me because you did not teach me basically a good right for wrong. You taught me how to manipulate. You didn't teach me how to have any self-awareness. You didn't teach me how to have self-discipline. You didn't teach me how to talk to myself in a positive light. You didn't teach me how to
And the
encourage
parents
myself.
look at you like you crazy because they don't know how to do any of that stuff themselves. They're just like,
There you go.
what are you talking about?
And that's exactly what you go. What are you talking about?
I didn't do that to you. You had a great childhood. Well, we are, So they
Right.
mentioned that you were a stepmother, and so often on all of my pages, because y'all know I got like 50 million pages, I need to combine. But so often we talk about how to co-parent with a disordered person, and typically on the stepmom page we talk about it from the stepmothers that are dealing with a biological mother that maybe is undiagnosed or diagnosed as narcissistic. But in your case, it's quite unique because you can probably very much speak to how to co-parent with a narcissist because your stepchild's mother has had to do that. And while the person that you are with is undergoing healing, I don't want you to think about the person that you're with right now that's undergoing healing. I want you to think about the one that was before, and maybe offer some tips to those of us that are having to watch our partners co-parent with a person that is very much disordered. Can you? I don't even know where to start. Like, can you help? What can you say? What we supposed to do, Coach Ralph? Take a long sigh.
I only can speak but so much on this, but let's just say there are more narcissists in my party than you think.
Okay. And that's
Yes.
quite understandable. Because I know that you do typically attract one another. I don't know if this conversation
Mhm.
before, but we're here to talk about it.
Yes.
And narcissistic women are way different than narcissistic men.
Yes.
You uncover the fiber and take that mask off, you're like, oh wow.
Right. Didn't know you had that back there, huh? But
Wow.
trying to answer your question, trying to co-parent,
Yes.
I'm going to put it in the words of my therapist. Um, Being that I'm the stepmom, unfortunately, you will look at me as, I guess, a parent. My husband will be B parent, and then the biological mom will be C parent. And when I
Mhm.
say A, B, and C parent, this parent is providing the most to the child.
Okay.
And then it's my husband, and then it's the biological parent who the child stays with. And
Okay.
so in that, because I'm not dealing with a disorder, I know how to be attentive. I know, like, okay, you need to be taught right from wrong. You need, saying to be shown love and affection, and you also, need correction. And so I've been taking on the role of primary parent, even though I'm the step parent, which I feel like I should be more of a helper than
Right.
taking on so much. But if you know anything
Ideally,
about,
you should be. Ideally,
ideally.
ideally, I have my six pack back, but that ain't where we at right now.
And so I'm the type of person who doesn't look at my stepchild as a stepchild. I look at, that's my first baby because she's older. I look at, that's my first baby. And
Yes.
so I don't treat any differently, at all. But because we have parents with disorders, we have learned bad behaviors. And so the only thing I can say is to govern your expectations, govern your feelings, um, because I have been hurt. I have been lied on. I have been tried to have a bully come against me. And I'm like, clearly they don't know who I am. As I said before, I will buck back. I'm that type of person like, oh, I don't want
They
the
don't
drama.
know like the
I
rest of us.
want
Real
all
talk.
of the smoke, honey. I want all of the smoke because I already know what I'm dealing with.
Yes.
You're coming against someone who's secure, and I'm dealing with insecure people. So, honey, please come. Please, so I can gather everyone up. Please come. But my expectations had to have been changed so many times. My feelings have been hurt because I would fall right back into loving, treating the child as my child just to get stabbed in the stomach. And so
Child who has these learned behaviors. They're coping. They're learning from.
yes,
We can't speak on the partner that you're not with,
right.
but they're learning this insecurity
Hmm.
from from a parental figure, And so you're trying to show them love and they're probably rejecting you because number one, if you're insecure, that means you probably believe that you are inherently devoid of value. Like, I don't really have any value. Why are you showing me that you love me? I know
Right.
you love me. So I'm going to throw this back on you because you're making me feel bad that you're trying to love me. And so
Yeah.
you don't make the child, as you said, false allegations start to happen.
Mhm.
How do you protect your own child? Because I see a lot of step parents dealing with this. You recognize, you're like, all right, and I think I made a post not too long ago. It was for stepmoms. I was like, have you ever recognized that, yeah, the other household might be crazy, but your partner is part of the problem too? But then these
Yes.
children, they also become very problematic. But then we have children with our partner. How do we keep our kids from following the pattern of their half sibling and their parent that resides with us? How do we protect our own?
I'm going to tell you what I do. I know
'Cause that's
I
how people
know a lot of people will not agree, but I am hard on letting a child be a child and keeping an innocence, right? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the early years are helping to shape a child into who they are by influence.
Yes.
If who the influence is who's going to help build out who that person is. So I limit the influence, regardless of who it is. I don't care because this is a gift that was given to me. If the parent is a bad influence, we're going to limit that influence, even if we are in the house.
Right.
If the step sibling is a bad influence, we're going to limit the interaction that you have with that sibling. I know we can't have a perfect child, a perfect person, but I'm
Right.
going to do my best to make sure as a protector that I'm not adding to the trauma, because what I don't want, and the same thing I've told my husband, I don't ever want my child to come back to me and say, why didn't you protect me, or why didn't you stop them from doing that? Like, why did you let me go around them
Why
if
did
you knew that?
you ask me if you knew that? Because
Right.
there's no good answer that a parent can give for if you knew this, mama.
Why you let me why
Yeah.
you let me hang around them? Why did you let me go to Uncle Joe's house if you know that he had a thing for little kids? Like,
Right.
why you let me go over there if you knew that they were just gonna like yell at me and abuse me? Like, why did you allow me to keep going over there? And if your only answer is because that's your grandfather, that's your grandmother, that's not a good answer. That is not.
That's no longer
Because that's your mom. No,
right.
no. Those are titles.
So what you're saying is without you know anybody else and we have to be so careful with our words because
Yeah.
it's recorded. This is going on air and I want us to produce
Mhm.
material that you and me both can be proud of 5, 10, 15 years from now, and we're not harming the people in our lives.
Right.
They might be at a point to where they finally want to get help and they'll see something that we said in 2021 and it'll take them back. So
Yeah.
so one thing I just want to be very careful with how we position this, but I'm firmly with you. If right now you're dealing with a person that you see is disordered or they're coming into their own disorder, then you do want to limit the interaction with the innocent child to save them. And yes, it is saving because we don't want our children to be disordered. That's not
Right.
that any of us strive to be. That's something that we strive to set ourselves apart from. So then, it's so hard because every woman says one thing I see, Ralph. Every man says his ex-wife is a narcissist. Every woman says her ex-husband, especially her baby daddy, is a freaking narc. And
Yes.
you know, the woman, the person that ends up with that accused narcissist,
Yes.
they're kind of left standing in the middle of a family's disorders, a family's dysfunction, the brokenness, the devastation of separation, and all that good stuff. How do you protect yourself? We talked about how to protect the kid and how to protect our partners. How the hell are we supposed to protect ourselves, Coach Ralph?
And I don't want to, but just in my experience, I have recognized, especially in the African American community, in the Black community, that the awareness is very low.
Damn.
A lot of my clients who've come to me off of just trying to figure out, they just need help, really wanting to stay together.
Mhm.
they really thought that their partner was like maybe bipolar. Because in our community, if somebody's flip-flopping, the mood changing all the time, we're going to be like, boom.
Right. Thank God for Instagram, and we're starting to learn the names of all this stuff.
Yes.
My idol wasn't bipolar; she was a psychopath.
Right. But everything, we're bipolar. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so the awareness has to be there. Like I would say, the information that you're putting out, the information that I'm putting out, we have to put this information out because we don't know. And the more you know, you don't have to know it in depth like we do, but you need to know enough signs and traits to be like, okay, wait a minute. And then also what I push to is being in alignment. And when I say alignment, your wholeness. That is your alarm. That is your wall. That is your defense against anything that comes against you that's not for you. And a lot of times we put that down off of pity and hope. First is pity. Pity and hope. Pity and hope will get you in trouble every single time.
Because we think we're supposed, especially as women, we think we're supposed to nurture and we can just love the hot mess out of them. But they mama put that there. Girl, they put that there long before you came into the picture. And it's not your job to unearth or undo that. And so, it's a lot, Coach Ralph.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But that's how that as women, that's exactly how we get into. We meet somebody and it's great the first couple of weeks or whatever. And then that first red flag comes up. And then you're like, oh, but they're so cool. Oh, but they're so nice. Oh, our connection. Oh, our sex. Oh. And then so we like, oh, and then we keep going on. And then we come to, oh, another red flag. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put my boundaries down. Never mind.
Yes.
I'm too far in now.
Exactly. So one last question though, because I made a post, I think it was last week or I don't know when. And it was talking about the key differences between the female and the male narcissist. And I know you've had professional experience with both of those. And I know you have way more information. Y'all, please check out her Instagram page, especially. But from your own professional experience.
And personal.
And dealing with the female narcissist, what are some telltale signs? Like, what does she say? What does she do to... That's a dead giveaway. Like, oh, sis is kind of.
Or you could just be like, oh, something's up with sis. Where, even though this is always said, and this is for anybody, everything has to be about them. And when I say it could be some small, like when they come into the room, say if everyone didn't pay attention, they're coming to you. So say if we're at a gathering and it's at your house, right, Naja? And I come over and so I walk in the room and I'm like, oh my God, who's that? Hey. But you didn't. I'm coming exactly to you. I'm like, so, like, did you feel bad that my outfit was better than yours? Or like,
damn! I'm like, damn, bitch! It's too much.
I was busy greeting people. What's wrong? Another tell sign.
Yeah.
Yes, another tell sign is the level of gossip. And so, again, say we're at a restaurant, me and you're having a good time, and a young lady comes into the restaurant, but it makes me feel a type of way. I'm automatically going to start to tear her down. Don't know her from Sam, but because her outfit, her hair, or whatever looks better than me, then I'm gonna. Oh, she thinks she all that. Oh, this and that. Another thing is, it's kind of a trait, but overly seductive. That's another thing for trying to draw the attention here.
Using sex is because women, using sex as a means to draw attention to us.
Yes. I have a hard time with what I want to say, empathy. And you're going to see this especially with girlfriends and friendships. So, say someone in your family died and you thinking this is your best friend, and you go to them and you're, you need a shoulder, and they're just like, I don't really know how to deal.
Just cold.
Yeah. And they'll tell you like, I just don't deal with death well, but there's no like reassurance, like, I don't deal with death well, but let me hug you or let me give you something. A lot of relationships, like, can't keep a man. No accountability.
Friends, can't keep a job. Can't keep
a job. And in every situation is always they're the victim. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You know what I'm saying? The guy, he didn't do me right. He didn't understand me at the job. The boss, didn't want me to get off and this and that. They're always attacking me. There's always me. Oh gosh, everyone hates me.
Yes.
Um,
So
Another thing is,
okay.
oh, go ahead.
Ooh, so I feel like we can go on literally all
Yes.
do a whole separate talk about the female narcissist because there's a lot of us that don't recognize these traits in our daughters and our mothers and ourselves and our grandmothers and our aunties and our co-parents. And we also kind of need to, I think you're gonna have to come back. Y'all, and Coach Ralph, are you down to do a part 2?
I am down to do a part 2.
We're gonna have to, this is really gives me thinking because not only do we not want to, we want to talk about the narcissists, but we also got to figure out how the hell we supposed to deal with them. Because Lord, they are a hot mess.
and that is, yes, and that is key.
Yes.
That is key. Yes.
But you know what, everybody, today we are actually out of time. I told you guys I wasn't going to keep you this long, but you see how interesting this conversation has. So Coach Ralph has agreed to come back. Coach Ralph, can you tell everybody how to find you, where to follow, all that good stuff?
Yes, so you can always find me on Instagram, and that's Ralph the Coach, at Ralph the Coach. Also, if you just want to just go gandering around, you can also go to RalphielToulon.com, and that's RalphielToulon.com. That's my website. And you can contact me. And then also in the near future, I will be having a membership site. So you can all just come to my community and we can all do this together.
Yes, membership site. You all know I'm all about some membership sites. Right.
Yes.
Way to do it. Coach Ralph, I thank you so much for being here. And I will let you guys know, she and I are going to talk offline and figure out when we're going to come back for part 2. But yeah, that's going to be a part 2. We're going to talk about female narcs and how to deal with them and how to spot them.
Yes.
Even how to get under their skin, because I know it's possible.
Oh, no, yes.
So I am Naja Hall, your host of No, I'm Crazy with Naja Hall, streaming on all of your favorite platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the love and support. And I'll see you Tuesday after next. I know I'm crazy with Naja Hall.
I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. With Naja Hall.